G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. This will be my Knackers Yard, still on the XJ650, it's still on Mick. The engine, and as far as I can get it, I've tidied up some of the paint where it's just this black, where is it? Is that it? Yeah, Halford's a very high temperature black. My suggestion is find something else. It's really not very strong, whereas the metallic black is really good. But anyway, I've gone over that a little bit more just to tidy it up. The head's on just to keep the dust out more than anything else, and I am waiting on I have chosen on a gasket, so I've gone for a paper gasket rather than try and make one up. It was a tenner, you know, it's fine, but it means that I can't finish that off for now. I need to start thinking about the frame, if not doing some stuff on it. I thought I'd rip the swing arm off and give that a go today, but it's just too hot and I can't be bothered. I want to go and piss around in the park with kids and do stuff like that. So what I've decided was, underneath I have the exhaust. Now this exhaust wasn't the one that came with it. I got this off eBay for uber cheap, put it on and realised why it was uber cheap, and that's the fact that it's got more holes than French marriage vows. So what? Well, I've still got the original, if all else fails, but I'm going to try and do something with it. It's stainless, which limits my welding options, I think, but I can have a go, can't I? I'm going to start off just getting rid of some of the rust, because what the previous guy has done is just stuck shit over the rust, painted it silver and chucked it on eBay. Waiting for some dickhead to buy it, and I mean, it sounds great, but it's wholly as fook. So I'm just going to see what, if anything, I can do with it. My initial plan is to grind back, get rid of the rust, see what I'm left with, and then I don't know. My welding isn't good enough to weld over a hole, I'll just blow it bigger, but I might see if I can just bang a plate over it. I don't even know if it's going to stick on stainless, frankly. But, you know, it's a hot day. I'm just going to have a little bit of a fuck around with this section alone, and then potentially see how I stand on the others. So let's give that a grind back first and see what I end up with. Right, a bit of multitasking there. While I was playing with this, I was chatting with a messenger with a guy called Matthias, who I think is Dutch, by his name, if nothing else. I'm not going to give his full name. He was pinging me pictures on a diversion that he wants to do a calf conversion on, so he wants to remove all the air intake stuff, so which I've done on a previous upload, and in fact I showed him, I did it a couple of years ago now, but I've still got one of the blanking slots, so I showed him that. It's lovely to help people out, it just makes you feel all good inside. Speaking of good inside, that isn't. So I've had to go at it with me little Dremel-esque. Rather than just stopping on the actual bit, I carried on at some dubious bits that have just been, you know, filled over rust. So I've got rid of the worst. I'm just going to chuck some cure rust on that and just let it do its thing while I consider my next stage. Right, my pissing around with metal continues. So I've had some scrap mill kicking around. I cut out a section, put it in my funky green vise, basically beat it till it was roughly round. I grabbed a bit of scrap that I had knocking around, tried to bend it around that a little bit, and then thought, well, actually that's the diameter I'm after, and it's a bit thicker, so that's a bit of old steel from kids' trampoline in the garden. They'll be gutted when they realise. No, we did bin it, but I kept some of the metal. So got one of those. I've slotted it and bent it a bit, just to get it to bend around that corner. I've also fleece wheeled So I've at least got a scuff. So I've got it clean, even though it is still, I think, stainless. Right, I'm going to take it around the back and try plug weld. So by plug weld, I mean dropping weld through those holes. I'll do one side, let it cool, and hit it a few times more with a hammer just to try and bend that round a little bit. I'm not going to film it because frankly my welding is embarrassing, but it's practice, isn't it? And we'll get on with it and see if it works at all. And I fucked that up. So I had the plate on, it did seem to stick. I broke my welder and lost the nibs that the wire goes through, so tried it without, it seemed okay. Just put a lot more weld down, but frankly I have no fucking clue what I'm doing anyway. But then rubbing it down, I rubbed through the fucking plate that I put over it, just over where the hole was. Oh, that's hot, it's been out in the sun. Now I've just done a test, a rudimentary test of pouring water onto there to cool it down and see if any came out the spout. Yes, it did. So I even have holes, but what I don't have is a big gaping rusty hole, which I had before. So I'm going to chuck some filler over the top of that. These pipes are going to get, well, if I use them, will get wrapped. So I really do not give a hoot what they look like. It'd be nice if I can get them perfect, but that's never going to happen. I don't have the skills or the kit to do that. The main lesson learned, I need to do that welding course I was on about. I have contacted a guy, I wasn't available on the dates he was. I do need to learn some lessons properly, apart from don't weld in flip-flops, brackets, it hurts. Yeah, see if I can get something on that. I mean, the advantage of having the bird shit on the top is there's a lot more for filler, for exhaust filler to hold on to and to bite onto now, rather than trying to hold on to flat polished surface. Well, that's my excuse anyway. We'll see. Right, and there we go, gun to the rescue. I've just thrown it on. Like I say, I could try and claim that the mottled surface gives it something better to hang on to than just the straight, but I think the summary that I've got here is this exhaust is pretty fucked. Probably beyond me to salvage it, so I may recast my attention back to the original, which I think was a little bit holy in itself, but nowhere near as bad as this has turned out to be, and that you can see the blatant. And this, I think this is just filler. Let me see if I can. That might do. And it's hard, whatever it is. I don't know if it's. It might be the old oh god, I can't think what it's called, the old high temp stuff. Don't know. But we'll see. Like I say, I'm not fussed about the cosmetics. I could just have at it with the old stone, get rid of the rust, and just bang a load of gum on. Don't know yet. What do you think? Is it worth me salvaging? Look at the state of that. Is it worth me even trying with this? I'll just have a look at the original, because I know the pipes, down pipes are okay. In fact, let me dig it out. Okay, so looking at the originals, whilst the neighbours hint that I probably need to mow the lawn. It's not really a collector box. I've got no real holes in the main pieces. They're a bit shagged. Frankly, well, they're not shagged actually. I've got 2 holes. Baffles are in, so holding the baffle, but fundamentally it's a baffle. Holding that baffle, I could probably just whip them out and do straight throughs. I'm probably in a better condition for the originals than I am for anything new. But for that new one, there's a hole there as well, but frankly, it could just be a couple of exhausts. Yeah, I think that's probably the way I'm going forward, is to stick the originals back on and probably just skip that. I don't know. What do you think, people? Do I persevere, bearing in mind that's going to get wrapped over the top anyway, or the intention's always be to do that? You can see a through and through hole there. The hole there meeting the one at the bottom. So look at the bottom. I suppose the top really. Holes and holes everywhere. I mean, looks good. It's a motel exhaust when it comes down to it. Do I persevere? Or do I just go original twin? Potentially buying 2 new silencers, which cost fuck all, let's face it. Got a big ass crack. No, I think it's new silencers if I'm going to go for the originals. What do you think, people? I'm leaning more towards a couple of, you know, cheapy trumpets on that and go for a twin rather than ploughing a lot of time, effort and probably money and trying to sort that one out. I don't know, give us your suggestions, people. That is a bad example. Now, the beauty of some channels is giving an amateur in the garden or in the workshop or in the garage a bad example not to follow, rather than a bad example brushed up as a good example, and you end up following the wrong thing. And I'm talking here obviously of a certain Del Bollocks in his garage who routinely does bad practice and passes it off as good stuff. This is bad practice done badly. It might work still, you never know. It's really warm today, that's pretty much cured already. In fact, squidging it into those holes will only help, into the holes underneath will only help. It may hold, I don't know. But we'll just see. Right, bit of a fuck up one for you, but that's the way it goes in real garages. It doesn't always go to plan. I have to start thinking about clearing that bad boy up. Cheers all, I'll catch you later. Ta-da.